Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the yet untitled show. Want to just do something fun again with the baseball cards. I know the last time I did one of these videos, it ran a little long. I did not mean for it to be a half hour, but I did get some good feedback on Facebook anyway. So I appreciate those of you who watched the previous video on Facebook. Not so much on YouTube, but I'm going to post these on YouTube as well. So in case you can't find me on Facebook or if you missed something, um, check me out. I'm going to have occasional videos on YouTube. But yeah, my name is John, and I'm happy to check out some baseball cards with you. As mentioned last time, I have no intention of being one of these set breakers, one of these people who just does baseball card videos for a living. I don't expect to make any money out of this, but I think it is fun to go back and take a look at some of these sets. Again, this is one of the sets that I picked up from a local Walgreens for $4.99, maybe $5.99, depending on whether or not they're on sale. About 100 cards in a set, plus a full pack. They always come with one full unopened pack. The jumbo box, and again it says 1 in 4 contain a hit. So this is the second one that I've done of these recently. As I mentioned last time, I've had good experience with these overall. I wasn't sure what to expect the first time, if you were going to get a bunch of cruddy, beat-up cards. Quite the opposite, in fact. The quality of these has been pretty good, and I think you get actually a decent value for the $5.99 that you're paying for it. So let's go ahead and open up another one of these and see how we do this time. Maybe we'll find something lucky. Maybe we'll find one of those hits. So just like the last time, okay, just so you know, this box was fully sealed. So I'm seeing these live for the first time. Just like last time, if you see something on this video that you absolutely have, or have to have, like you're for the world's biggest Rickey Henderson fan, and I come up with a Rickey Henderson card that you don't have, let me know, and I will be happy to make an arrangement to get that card out to you. I collect mostly San Diego Padres, so if you happen to be a big fan of the Toronto Blue Jays or Milwaukee Brewers or Seattle Mariners or what have you, let me know. I'll be happy to work something out with you. Now, this is interesting right off the bat. I mentioned that these come with a free pack, a free unopened pack. It came with the Topps Opening Day 2019 baseball set, which is the same one that I got out of the last pack. So the same pack, just the second one, so not much variety. I have gotten some other more interesting packs in the past, but this is a good example of why I kind of got out of the baseball card industry and stopped collecting during the 1990s and 2000s. I mean, look at this. This is a pack of baseball cards. Each one of these, only 7 cards. Look how thin that is. Look how skinny. And probably if you went to Target, this would probably cost you about $4 or more. So, when I was a kid, and I'm going to use some visual aids here. When I was a kid, the packs that we would get, this is back in the 80s, they were quite a lot thicker. I mean, this is an 88 Topps pack. Look at how much bigger that is compared to this one that I got today. You can see, very different. Now, this one came with 15 cards and a stick of gum. Just so you know, I will not be chewing the 30-year-old gum. So, sorry if you're tuning in for that. There's plenty of YouTube videos where people actually do that. I'm not going to be one of them. The response, hey, Google it. It's funny to see people try the gum. I'm not going to be doing that myself. But just so you know, back in the day, you would get a pack of these 15 cards plus gum, usually for about 50 cents back in 1987, 88, 89. Maybe 75 cents if the place was trying to gouge you. Here's an 89 Fleer. Here's an 89 pack of Score. Donruss 90, I think 1990? What year is this? Doesn't even say. I should probably know that, but it just says Donruss, so it's about from that same era. And then, if you really wanted to go crazy, you could get one of the, these are what you call the wax packs. So, the ones with the gum in it. Here's another 88 set. Maybe I'll open this one up before too long. Or You could also get the rack packs. This is a smaller example, but this is an 88 Fleer. Yeah. Where it's a bit thicker. You're going to get about, what, 40 cards in one of these. A bit thicker. There's Ron Darling on the front. This is how you would buy cards back in the 80s. You'd get a pack like that for maybe about $3 at most. And I think that's why the baseball card industry lost a lot of steam in the 1990s, is because they started to gouge the prices. As mentioned, brands like Upper Deck got a little too fancy for their own good. Full color photos on the back, there's a price for that. And it got to be overly expensive, I think, for the average kid collector. If you're an old guy like me, you can afford some of those packs. But even today, if you go to Target looking for baseball cards, the cheapest pack you're going to find is going to be like $5, and you might get 8 cards, maybe. So it's overly expensive, which is why I like doing these Walgreens sets. So let's go through some of these. I'm going to skip through a bunch. One thing that I did last year is I kind of looked at the geologic strata of the set itself. If you go in and look sideways at the set here, I'm sorry about the light, it's overly bright in here, but you can tell some of the newer cards are the ones with white on the side, and then there's this long brown stripe here. That indicates to me that these are going to be the older cards. So let's start with some of those older cards at the top of the deck. Take a look and see what's on that brown stripe. I have not gone through these already. Here's a Topps Heritage Aaron Nola. That doesn't look like any existing Topps design that I know of. I don't really know what they're going at. I've got a couple of Fleer 1990s, Nicky Saski from the Red Sox. Again, I'm going to skip a bunch of these, especially if I don't know who we're talking about here. Fleer 87, Tim Tuffle. He was part of the Mets championship team in 86. Wound up with the Padres for some reason. Some 1990s Topps. Greg Olson was a good catcher for a number of years. Feel like he was with the Braves for a while. Here we go. Speaking of the Braves, this is a good one. Deion Sanders, the football star, also obaseball star. His major league debut with the New York Yankees. This was May 31st, 89. Yeah, Deion Sanders. Obviously spent some time with the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, but is probably most well known for his time with the Falcons and the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. So one of the true two-sport stars. I used to love Bo Jackson when I was a kid. I thought Bo Jackson was the best athlete in the world, and for a time I think he was. And man, if it wasn't for that hip injury, he could have been a Hall of Famer in two sports. Let's go through some of these other things. Here's an early Wally Joyner. This is good, back when he was with the Angels. This is his rookie card with Donruss. So Wally Joyner had a nice long career, including the 98 World Series team in San Diego. When he first came up in 86 with the Angels, he was big news, big news. Jose Oquendo, 1989 Topps. Good, solid infielder for many years with the Cardinals. Still one of the best Cardinals of that decade, and that was a very good decade for St. Louis. Lenny Dykstra, after he left the Mets, he played for the Phillies and made some noise there in the 1993 World Series, which they did not win. Here, once again, is Ron Darling. Ron Darling, we mentioned him once. This is his 1990 Topps with the Mets. Again, going back to that 86 World Series. Let's see what else we got here. Paul O'Neill. I liked him when he was with the Reds. Then he sold his soul with the Yankees, and I didn't like him anymore. Walt Terrell, formerly with the Detroit Tigers, spent some forgettable years in San Diego. Didn't really accomplish anything here. This, I think this is a 93 Upper Deck. Yeah, 1993 Upper Deck. Kevin Seitzer is the ball player. Not looking at it so much for him. But this is one of the first Upper Deck designs that really got away from their initial look. And I think it's a good, solid card. I think it's a good look for a card, even though, again, I prefer the more traditional cardboard backs like this one here. I'd rather see, the plain cardboard, whereas this one is the full color photo, limited stats on the back. I am a traditionalist when it comes to baseball cards, so I prefer this over this. But for an Upper Deck set, that 93 set, I think, is a good look, solid. This is the more traditional Upper Deck look, the 1991, where it has the stripe down the side, logo in the corner. The 90 set, the 91 set, the 92 set, they all look kind of the same. Let's see here. Rick Honeycutt. Here's another Wally Joyner. This is a 91 score, again with the Angels. So we've hit 2 Wally Joyners so far today. Scott Livingstone, when he was with the Tigers, he was part of the fire sale Padres in the 93, 94 era. Not a good time to be a Padres fan. It was just an ugly, ugly era in their history. And, of course, you're going to find one of these from time to time. This is a checklist, Upper Deck checklist from 1991. These things, they serve their function, but they're not really fun to find in the set because they're not attractive. They're not fun. White Sox, Lance Johnson. Very speedy guy, lots of stolen bases. He had a lot of good years there in Chicago on the south side. Mark Langston with the Expos. Again, good years in Seattle, good years in San Diego. This is the first card in this pack that I would consider maybe a little bit damaged, because I don't know if you can see the side of this card is a bit frayed. It might be too hard to see on here, but if you look at the very, very edge, I'm going to try to get that in focus. I don't know. You might have to take my word for it. It doesn't look like the card was cut clean in the first place. So it's a little bit jagged, a little rough on one edge. So it's always interesting to see some of the people that these card companies decided were going to be huge stars. I mean, I've got a 1987 Topps of Tim Pisnarski, and it says at the bottom, future star. Baseball cards are like gambling. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Here's a guy, Scott Champerino of the Texas Rangers. And here at the bottom it says star rookie. It says here he played 6 games in 1990, and I don't know if he ever made it back after that. Maybe he had a decent career. I just don't remember him, but certainly not a star player by any means. We have a 1987 Fleer limited edition of Dwight Gooden, record setters. But if you look at the back of the card, it doesn't say anything about what record he might have set. This is interesting. Doesn't say anything other than his regular stats. So if you're going to have a set called Record Setters, tell us what record you're talking about. Kelly Gruber, 1990s classic. You can tell it's the 1990s because of the Saved by the Bell background there. The tiger stripes in the back, the random blue splotches against the yellow. This thing is trying too hard. That's not a good look for a card. So, again, 1990s. You can tell it's 1990s because of the random color patterns, Cardinals, Tony Pena. Oh, and again, Red Sox, Tony Pena. 2 Tony Penas right in a row. So here he is with the Cardinals, here he is with the Red Sox. Good catcher for many years. I remember him as a Cardinal. I know he spent a lot of time in the Pirates system as well, or playing for the Pirates. Did not know he went to the Red Sox, but there you have it. So, 2 Tony Penas in a row. Here's a guy I never heard of. Here's a guy I never heard of. That's going to happen from time to time. Oh, here we go. 1990s again. Jose Vizcaino. Again, check out the tiger stripes, the random spotches of blue against the pink background in this case. Jose Vizcaino, I remember him with the Cubs and Harry Carey trying to pronounce his name. If you never got to see Harry Carey call a Cubs game on WGN in the 90s, oh man, it was fun. He was drunk for probably half his broadcasts. Poor Steve Stone, his broadcast partner, trying to prop him up. And Harry, the older got, the funnier he got. If you've ever seen Will Ferrell do Harry Carey on Saturday Night Live, would you eat the moon if it were made of spare ribs? That's not that far off. That's why it was funny. It's because you could see Harry Carey bringing that up during a baseball game. Hi, everybody. Hey, Harry Carey. So, anyways, if you never got to see Harry, YouTube it. I miss him. He was the funniest baseball broadcaster. And unfortunately, it wasn't intentionally funny, but it came across very funny. Speaking of mispronouncing things, Julio Franco, here's a 1986 with Cleveland. Julio Franco made the 1989 All-Star team, I believe, when he was with the Texas Rangers. And I will always remember this. During the 1989 All-Star game, whatever network it was, NBC or CBS, whatever, they brought on former President Ronald Reagan. Reagan had been, in his youth, a Chicago Cubs broadcaster, and so I think the the All-Star game that year might have been in Chicago. So they brought him into the booth to interview him. This was after his presidency, right after his presidency, and they actually let him call an at bat or call a game. And I will always remember he mispronounced. He said next up was, for the Texas Rangers, Julio Franco, and yeah, sad, but yeah, I liked Reagan very much, but obviously at that point he was getting quite elderly. So, Billy Hatcher with the Pirates, that's an odd one. You think of him primarily with the Astros, maybe with the Reds, but I didn't even know he went to the Pirates. The Donruss Diamond King set in the late 80s, even mid 80s and early 90s, the Donruss Diamond King set was very attractive. They had one artist, Perez, but this one artist did all of their Diamond Kings cards, and they were all very attractive. Shane Rawley, admittedly, is not the most flashy star, but the Diamond King set in general, when you opened up a pack of Donruss, you were glad to get one of those. That was always a good, attractive card, and usually, in most cases, they were star players. So, here's Jordan Hankins of the Collegiate National Team. Never heard of him, although name sounds familiar. Maybe I got him in the last pack. I don't know. Here is Cooperstown Museum Pieces. This is a picture of a game-worn cap by Christy Mathewson from the class of 1936. This is one of those Panini cards. I got to tell you, I don't have a lot of experience with Panini, but based on what I've seen so far, I'm not impressed. I'm guessing this is a Panini also? Oh no, Topps Gypsy Queen, okay. Future Stars, Yonder Alonso. So this is early. This is when he was with the Reds. Yonder Alonso was the Padres' attempt to replace Adrian Gonzalez. And he hit well enough for average, but had zero power. Zero. I think he went one year, the entire month of May, without a single home run. You can't do that and play first base in the big leagues. And yet he has stuck. He's been one of these players. I think he's with the White Sox now. He spent time with the A's. I think he spent time with Cleveland. He has bounced around quite a lot over the course of his career, but he keeps finding work, and he's one of these guys who did not do well in San Diego, but as soon as he left, he made an all-star team, I think, when he was with Oakland. So, anyways, that happens a lot. The Padres dump a player, and then next time you see him, he's in the all-star game. Here's another Panini. I don't even know what to say with this. Is this guy even a real player? Jesus Montero. Yes, he is. 2012 Seattle, 515 at-bats, 15 home runs. Okay. All right, so this is a real player, but it's obviously not a real picture. I mean, it's an illustration, and a very lazy one at that. I mean, would you do that in MS Paint? That's another Panini card. They are not winning me over. All right, and then here, super shiny. Hello. Look at that. Super shiny, super reflective. This is a D. Gordon. It says Donruss Optic. And I was going to say it looked like a Donruss just based on the back of the card. If you look at the pattern, this looks very much like any other Donruss card from that same era. Or I should say from my youth, from 20 years ago. Huh. Donruss and Panini. Maybe it's the same company. Okay. Yep, 2016 Panini Donruss Optic Baseball. Well, I will say this. Again, Panini, I am not a fan of the overly reflective cards. Shiny, super shiny. I'm not a fan of that, but I am a fan of the reverse on this one. The fact that it looks like the classic old school Donruss. This appeals to me. So that is a point in your favor there, Panini. Let's see what else we've got here. We have a more recent Topps Houston Astros shortstop, Jonathan Villar. You can always tell the more recent Topps because for the last 6 or 8 years, they have not deviated much from their basic look. It used to be the most exciting thing about getting a new year of baseball cards, a new set of baseball cards each year, was you never knew until you opened the pack what it was going to look like. I mean, if you had a pack of 88 Topps and you hadn't seen one before, you had no idea what to expect. The 88 Topps looks nothing like the 87 Topps, which looked nothing like the 86 Topps, which looked nothing like the 85 Topps. So that basic card design would vary significantly from one year to the next. Topps has gotten away from that. So here's and I can tell without even having to look it up, this is an 89 Topps. It has a very distinct look. So, with the modern Topps, you have to actually look at the back of the card and see what year it is, where's the copyright. Now, having said that, not all designs work super well. The 89 Fleer set was notorious. These, the gray stripy, even then, back in the 80s, we knew this was not a good look for a card. The gray pinstripe. Now, the back of it works because you get Fleer's very good stats, the color columns, which made it much easier to read. So, Fleer on the back of the card, I think this is a winner. But again, the gray pinstripes not working for me. Interesting that this one was number 1 in the set. The way that Fleer used to work, the way they used to operate is they would number their cards according to the teams and how they finished the previous year. So, this being an 89 set, your first 2 teams in the set are going to be the A's and the Dodgers, who met up in the World Series the previous year. So you're going to have the entire A's set alphabetically, starting with Don Baylor, obviously. Then you're going to have the Dodgers, or the next playoff teams. The Mets made it that year. 88, I think, was the Toronto Blue Jays that made it that year. So, with Fleer, it's very easy. You can predict what teams are going to be listed and where, and if you're interested in collecting complete sets, Fleer is interesting because you're going to have everything already alphabetized and the teams listed in the order that they finished the year before. So there's a few things to like about Fleer from this era. This design is not one of them. Let's see. Current Topps, Kendrys Morales with the Mariners. Oh, Kendrys Morales. Okay, this is the guy. He was very good with the Angels, spent some time in Seattle. This is a 2014 Topps. I think it was while he was with the Angels, and I want to say it was maybe like the first day of the season. He hit a home run. It was a walk-off home run. He celebrated, and as he jumped onto home plate at the end of the game, he fractured his ankle, and he was out for the year. And it was just a gruesome injury and a sad way for his season to end on a walk-off home run where he literally could not walk off the field at the end. Here we go. Topps Untouchables, Max Scherzer. Now that is a good card. This might be one of those hits that we're talking about. Anything Max Scherzer is going to be super worthwhile right now because he's one of the true star pitchers of the game. This is a 2018 Topps Untouchable, only right-hand pitcher with two no-hitters and a 20K game on his resume, 20 strikeouts. So that one, again, it says every 4 packs has a hit. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Depends on what you mean by a hit. Overly shiny card. Not a fan of the shine. Here's another one, Juan Lagares of the Mets, super shiny. Ozzy Albies with the Atlanta Braves. This is one of the newer Topps cards. Probably about a 2016, 17, 2018. Okay. Again, it's hard to tell because the design stays so basically the same from one year to the next. But that's a good one. Ozzy Albies is certainly a good player. That might be worth something if that's his rookie card. Here's another one, Ian Happ with the Chicago Cubs. I don't think his career has gone quite the way he wanted it to so far, but I mean, he's not a bad player. Maybe that'll be worth something someday. Don't know. What else have we got here? I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly. Here I have two of the same. It happened the last time, too. Two of the exact same card, back to back. I don't know if somebody's grabbing them off of a stack somewhere. The debut card of 2011 MLB draft pick Dan Gamache for the Minnesota Twins, third base. Never heard of him. I don't know if he made it to the major leagues. If he was a draft pick, there's a good chance maybe he didn't. Not all the draft picks are going to work out. So, let's see here. See if I've got any other real winners here. Okay, a couple more Panini cards. Oh, okay. Hall of Fame. All right, so we've got Richie Ashburn and Roy Campanella. This is obviously part of the same set. Richie Ashburn elected in 1995 to the Hall of Fame. Roy Campanella, 1969. Gives a overview of their. No, it does not really give much of an overview of the career. This is about a specific game. This is August 2nd, 1942 at Yankee Stadium, Baltimore versus Philadelphia. Oh, that's not even the game he would have played in. That's strange. Why would you do that? Why would you have... Oh, I guess, okay, Campanella was playing in that game. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, the Baltimore Giants came to town to take on the Philadelphia Stars. Baltimore, Philadelphia, that would have been an old Negro League game. Okay. Well, that makes more sense then. Okay. At Yankee Stadium. Huh, okay. I learned something. This one is Richie Ashburn, Forbes Field, 1958. Gives you the box score of a very specific game. Maybe this was his first game ever, or... No, it wasn't that. He was already 10 years into the league. I don't know why they're picking out these particular games, but it's just a single game for each of these players. Richie Ashburn, Roy Campanella. Oh, and here's Campanella not even in his Dodgers uniform. This is him in his Negro Leagues Giants uniform. So, interesting. Some insight. That would be an interesting set. And that actually is a Panini card. So, all right, Panini scoring points with me for that set. That's interesting. I'd like to see more of those. Some Topps cards that these are more modern. I got a few of these, a bunch of these in a row. These are the 2019 Topps. Okay, so I got a bunch of them. 2019 Topps, a bunch in a row. So again, sometimes they clump together. You can get the same thing 2 or 3 times. 87 Topps, always gorgeous with that wood background, the wood finish around it. Cliff Johnson, toward the end of his career, played a long time as a designated hitter in the American League. This might have been his very last card, but that 87 set, always a welcome sight. Here's an Albert Pujols Donruss 2019. Albert Pujols in the 2000s was one of the most dangerous players in baseball, and since he signed with the Angels, he just hasn't been the same. I thought he was on track to maybe break the all-time home run record, which is legitimately held by Hank Aaron. In the record books, it'll say Barry Bonds, but we all know that's not true. This is a Donruss Panini, so that is the same company, and that's a good-looking card. So it would be nice to see Donruss make a comeback. They kind of went away in the mid-1990s, and for a while, Topps had the exclusive rights to Major League Baseball. So some of those other companies, Donruss, Fleer, stopped making cards altogether. Oh boy, here is a Donruss of Chase Headley. 2014 Donruss Chase Headley. And interesting, I mentioned that that Topps had the exclusive rights to Major League Baseball. You'll notice this card does not say Padres on it anywhere. It says San Diego. Doesn't use a Padres logo. Even on the back, it refers to San Diego, not the Padres. You can see, I don't know if that's too blurry to read, but the paragraph on the back never says Padres. It refers to San Diego fans. Chase Hadley had half of one good season. I think maybe it was 2012. He had half of one good season in San Diego, and the rest of his career was quite disappointing. So, yeah, don't get me started on Chase Headley. He was not worth the investment that we put into him. Here is a sticker, I believe. This is a 2013 triple play of Jared Weaver. That is definitely a sticker. I can peel that off. You can see there's a yeah, it's cut here. It's adhesive, so yeah, this is a sticker of some kind. Jared Weaver artwork, not actual photo. And as mentioned, some of the artwork can be good. Those Donruss Diamond Kings, really good artwork. I mean, that was a legitimate painting of a ball player. This is not as exciting, not as professional. Shortstop Ian Desmond with the Washington Nationals. Good ball player there. Not going to be remembered with the Nats, though. He was, his biggest years, I believe, were with Texas Rangers, and I think he was with those two Texas Rangers teams that went to the World Series 2011-2012, I believe. I think it was the 2012 Texas Rangers that were one strike away from winning the World Series and did not pull it off. Panini, the Seattle Mariners, Hisashi Iwakuma, 2013 Mariners. Panini loves their shine, don't they? The shiny, shiny card. And it's a very thick card, too. I'll mention that. It's on a thicker stock than most baseball cards. Panini 2013 Reggie Jackson throwback card of some kind. I'll tell you what, there are a lot more oddball cards in this pack than there were in the other one that I opened. Yeah, here's Nomar Garciaparra playing for Team USA. A lot of just oddballs, sets that I've never heard of. Companies like Panini as opposed to Topps, Donruss, Upper Deck. Here's a Bowman, which I know is owned by Topps, but still. Ryan Braun. Taylor Trammell. Okay. Taylor Trammell of the Cincinnati Reds, recently acquired by the San Diego Padres in a controversial deal. The Padres traded their designated hitter last July, not designated hitter, but one of their outfielders, Franmil Reyes, traded to the Reds for Taylor Trammell. And Taylor Trammell was just a double-A ball player at the time. I don't think he had had any major league action. So the Padres have a bad habit of trading established major league talent for one minor league prospect at a time. I say that's a bad idea, bad investment. You need to pick up packages of prospects. Get them 2 or 3 at a time because not all these prospects are going to pan out. Here's another Jose Vizcaino. I know I didn't show the first one, but I did show the second one. And this is a third Jose Vizcaino card in the same pack, same set. Here he is with the Cubs. I was talking earlier about Harry Carey, and I always remember him having trouble pronouncing the name of Jose Vizcaino. Matt Cain with the San Francisco Giants. He threw a perfect game. Yeah, in fact, this card even mentions it. A 2012 campaign that included a perfect game, had a perfect ending for Matt, who won Game 7 of the NLCS, and was the starter in San Francisco's victory over Detroit in the final game of the World Series. Well, you can't have a better year than that, a perfect game and a World Series championship. I think that perfect game was against San Diego, but I'm not sure. That was Matt Cain. This is Lorenzo Cain. No relation. And let's see if we have anything here. Padres outfielder Buddy Reed. I know the Padres very well. I don't know if this was a Major League ball player. No. 2016 minor league batting record. Initially drafted by the Rangers. I don't remember this guy. I don't think he made the major leagues, or if he did, it probably wasn't with San Diego. All right, we're getting down to the last couple of cards here. Let's see if there's anything. Cincinnati Reds, Austin Kearns. Okay. Here's a Panini of Prince Fielder. Interesting thing about Prince Fielder, he and his father Cecil, both big-time home run hitters. Cecil Fielder for the Blue Jays and then the Detroit Tigers, and I think he spent some time with the Yankees. Prince Fielder played mostly for the Milwaukee Brewers and then over to Detroit. The father and son ended up with the exact same total number of home runs. Just one of those crazy coincidences. Unfortunately, they're not in good terms with each other. They're not in speaking terms. So, and then, well, that's it. That's all the interesting cards in this set. So, thank you very much. Again, I went over a half hour. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But, hey, you know what? If you're enjoying these, let me know in the comments, Facebook, YouTube. If you saw anything in here that you absolutely have to have, hit me up. Again, if you're a fan of any one particular player, or if you're a fan of any one particular team, maybe you like Jose Vizcaino. Maybe you want all of the different Detroit Tigers cards that you saw. Maybe you want all of the Phillies or Red Sox or whatever. I'll be happy to send a package of these to you. We'll work something out. If there's something that you have to have, let me know. Otherwise, I've got one more of those packs, and then I'm going to open up some of these other wax packs and some of these other sets and see if these sets here that you only get 7 cards per pack, we'll see if these are actually worth anything. Who knows? But that's all for now. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.